The adrenal thyroid connection. When it comes to metabolism, I want you to think about hormones. I want you to think about insulin, cortisol, adrenals, and thyroid. Those are going to be your main hormones involved in your metabolism. The adrenals and thyroid have a direct connection. If one goes up, one goes down. All right, there's a domino effect. So usually the adrenals are the first thing they're going to be activated in times of stress. Think about your flight or fight. Think about cortisol. It's a stress hormone. Usually it's released from the adrenal glands. If your adrenals are always firing, it suppresses the thyroid. So what usually happens when you have adrenal issues are they typically are unnoticed because by the time that someone goes in to see a practitioner or a clinician, they're already thinking thyroid by the time they start ordering labs. And most of the time they don't order adrenal labs to check to see if that's the problem. But things like adrenal issues can be chronic fatigue, it can be trouble sleeping, it could be anxiety, it could be the constant need for stimulants and possibly even caffeine. Person might be having trouble losing weight and they might feel bloated all the time. Adrenals are usually firing first, with the thyroid being suppressed second. The adrenals keep firing, keep firing, keep firing, and are overstressed and overused while the body is not giving it nourishment. At one point, the adrenals basically run out of steam and they go kaput. If that's the case, then the thyroid takes over for your energy and metabolism because your adrenals are basically gone into adrenal fatigue and they are not working. So then the thyroid decides to go from underactive or hypothyroid to go to hyperthyroid, which is an overactive thyroid. It's not an easy mechanism to do, and so when that's the case, the body's usually confused. The body starts thinking that something is wrong with the thyroid and attacks it. It sends antibodies over there to basically figure out what's going on, and then it goes into flight or fight mode, which what thinks pretty much the body's under attack and the thyroid's sick. An autoimmune disorder develops named Hashimoto's disease, and that's when all kinds of hell breaks loose when it comes to autoimmune disorders. Adrenal fatigue is a real issue, and most people go underdiagnosed. One way to figure out if you have adrenal fatigue is to check labs using DHEAS and cortisol. DHEAS is a better indication of adrenal function because it's more stable. Cortisol will fluctuate up and down throughout the day depending on your stress levels. If you wanted to check any other hormones coming from the adrenal glands, you could check aldosterone as well. The hormones that come from the adrenal glands can include cortisol, aldosterone, norepinephrine, epinephrine, I'm sorry, uh, estradiol, as well as testosterone. Yes, your adrenals make a little bit of sex hormones, and you need to look at your adrenals like a hormone factory because that's essentially what they do. If adrenal fatigue goes underdiagnosed, goes undertreated, there could be some real problems, and fibromyalgia-like symptoms are usually associated with these types of adrenal issues. Hashimoto's and underactive, overactive thyroid have also been an issue. So usually, even treating the thyroid alone is not going to be enough. You need to treat the adrenals as well. Some of the things that you can do to treat the adrenals could be giving it B vitamins. Adrenals love B vitamins, B5 and B6 in particular. And if you're going to take B6, you always want to have the bioactive form, which is known as pyridoxal 5-phosphate, or P5P. If you're also going to supplement with the adrenals, adaptogens are also great as well. You could look at rhodiola, you could look at ashwagandha, maca, you can even look at shishandra, and even ginseng. Those are great, wonderful adaptogens that stimulate the adrenals to produce hormones on their own, and adaptogens will also help stimulate the pituitary gland, which is a precursor, or I guess is an organ that promotes precursor signals to your adrenal glands. And it would also be something that would help you with longevity and even focus and energy as well. Last thing that you could probably do, and this is not going to be helpful for the vegans, but you could take bovine adrenal gland. There is nothing short of bovine adrenal gland that's going to be stronger for the adrenals, and it would be great to take it because it's something that you would notice a difference within a few days to a few weeks depending on your severity levels. Just a word of the wise, adrenal fatigue is a long-term issue and it's going to take a while to try to resolve because every day we're under constant stress, and you're trying to basically go an uphill battle against that. Thyroid disorders is a little bit more tricky. That could involve looking at mineral, electrolyte, and even vitamin deficiencies and restoring those, as well as cleaning up the gut, removing things like gluten to help with leaky gut syndrome, which can also be associated with thyroid disorders, regulating the liver because the liver regulates all our hormones, including converting T4 to T3. And one of the other things that you want to look at when it comes to the thyroid is making sure that the labs that you need are correctly ordered. TSH, total free, T3 and T4 are great. TPO checks your antibodies, and reverse T3 is also great, especially if someone is taking something like Synthroid or levothyroxine, which is T4. You want it to convert over to T3, which is the actual more potent thyroid hormone, and reverse T3 will check to see if there's conversion occurring. If there's a block in conversion, reverse T3 will be elevated, and it would be a possible indication that your thyroid medication is not working. There is hope, but you have to look at it from both sides of the spectrum.